Hello and welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. On this show, through analysing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you the superpowers you have, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. To get your dream analysed on my show, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form there and submit it to the show. I take it from there. You just sit back and wait for questions from me or wait to hear your dream analysed on the show. If you are interested in particularly coming on the show to do your dream live, just add that to me in the comments because that's something I want to include at least one of those in each show. And I haven't done it this week, or I don't think I did it last week either. Anyway, I did get a series of questions. It's not just your dreams you can send to me. You can send questions, of course. And I got a series of questions about guides, which I'll cover later on in the show. But for now, let's do some of your dreams. Remember, go to dream-analysis.com, download my dream dictionary. It's free. It's thousands of symbols, all from dreams that I've interpreted over the many years I've been doing this. And you can try figure out your own dreams, see how well you do before I analyze your dream on the show. But let's have a look. Here's a dream from Nick. Nick is 40 and the dream is titled Whale Watching Trip with Mom. Well, we already know from the title. I may as well say it. We know Nick is a channel and we know that there's something about Mom that he has to work on, most likely work on. But let's have a look at the dream. My mom and I are on vacation traveling by plane to a coastal town, Scotland or England or somewhere in Europe, or with an old world feel to it. Okay, so because he doesn't tell us where the place is, we can't do anything about that. But the fact that he's going on vacation, that's a dream's way of asking you to relax. But he goes with Mom, so he has to work with Mom, work on issues with Mom. There are whales in the water offshore by the town where we are staying, and they often come right up to the shore, very close to us. We are watching the whales and taking pictures of them. Well, I come from that part of the world. The whales don't do that. I mean, a lost whale might show up somewhere. But anyway, the whales represent your ability to channel. Whales are mammals, just like you and me, air breathing, but living in the ocean. The ocean represents the spirit world. So it means a mammal like you who can travel into the spirit world without danger, that you're comfortable in there. It's your home space, let's say. So you've got that ability. You talk about them coming right up to the shore, very close to us. So again, the point of it is to show you that this is a gift you brought with you. Whether you're using it or not, I don't know. I do know that Nick is an actor. Anyway, you say, later we have lunch with the tour group we are traveling with. So again, the tour groups are reminding you that you're here to relax. You're meant to relax. You obviously don't relax. And the group element tells us that you're also a spiritual leader. You've got a special ability to help other people. An older, heavy-set woman named Pam is among the other tourists that make up our group. She is holding a tiny little dog, a chihuahua maybe. As I walk by her, Pam grabs my arm and asks me, "Do you have intuitive abilities?" Well, yes, you do. She wouldn't ask if you didn't. But you definitely do. It might be one of the ways your channeling works, where you get feelings about things and you just have a knowing. But what else have we got? She's heavy set. So it means that you protect your female side, protect your heart. So you got to work on that. And that's probably why Mom is showing up in there. She grabs my hand and asks me if I hear numbers. I then feel pulses vibrating through her hands into mine. The pulses are coded messages that slowly morph into a very strange and monotone, very low frequency voice heard only by me. So this is definitely about channeling. Here is you talking about hearing a voice that only you can hear. So this is how it works for you. I have to listen closely to make it out. I hear the voice say, "Go to church." I ask, "What church?" A coded message comes through in the vibrations and Pam translates it to me aloud. She answers, "As low as possible." Mom and I leave and Pam does not go with us. Okay, so really interesting. So you're getting these pulses and vibrations, very low frequency. You're told go to church. Now I did ask off air if Nick goes to church, and he has, the way I was told it was, a severe aversion to religion. So so go to church is not about getting back into religion. It's about realizing that you are a spiritual person and you're asked to respect your spiritual side. It's the most important aspect of you, of all of us, really. And so you've got this special communication ability that comes to you kind of in code, like in the dream. It comes in code. So what you get isn't necessarily what you're going to pass on, but it's going to sit with you for a while, and then you're going to say, oh, I know what this is. I need to do this, or I need to say that to a particular person. But you have this special ability, but the whales already tell us that you have that. So one other thing you mentioned, picking up a vibration in the hands. Let's see here. Do you have a hands-on healing ability? Do you have? No. I'm not sure why that's showing up there. So you must have a sensitivity in your hands all the same. You have to listen closely. So go to church. So where is church? Church is everywhere. Everything is spiritual. So realize that absolutely everything in life is spiritual. Whatever you're doing, whoever you see, people reflect back to us what things that we're capable of seeing. So if we see an angry person, it means we're angry. If we see somebody who's judgmental, it means we're judgmental. So everything in a way is our spiritual church teaching us about ourselves. And if you see somebody with special abilities, then you've got those special abilities. You know, it's realizing that you have not necessarily those abilities, but that you have abilities that go beyond the five senses. Think about the many people that you would know in your life who say there is no such thing as a person with special abilities. It doesn't matter what's performed in front of them. They do not believe in it. So it's in that way. If you can't see it, it's not part of your life. Doesn't mean it isn't something you should strive for it, but it means where it shows you where the obstacles are you need to work on. Anyway, you say, my mom and I are then returning to the town and spot more whales close to the shore. Of course, it's important, your channeling ability. Mom is taking pictures of the whales and falls from an old wooden pier into the rough, icy cold water. I jump into the water and rescue her. Well, that's a unique thing right there. Most dreams, people don't want to rescue their mom. So you obviously get on well with your mom now. But the start of life, which is what the pier is about, is, and you saying that it's icy cold water and she falls into that. Well, it's really about you. But her influence on you makes you icy cold. So makes you like freeze people out. You're not open, you don't share, or at least you didn't at the start of life, and you still have to work on that with mom. And I've seen this before. In fact, the questions, I said I've got questions about guides. They came in from a lady who is also an actor. And when you look at that and you see someone who's an actor, you think, oh, okay, they've no problem being open in front of others, but that's not true. Actors pretend to be somebody else, and somebody who closes themselves off emotionally pretends to be somebody else, simply like this. I say, hey, Nick, how are you doing? Is everything fine? And you're going to say, yes, it is, when it isn't. You don't share. You pretend that things are a certain way when they're not. You'll completely understand that. Anyway, that's what you got to fix. Got to fix the iciness. And it's not a put down, it's a reaction because of your start of life that you found it easier to navigate life, to survive life by being that way. Well, the dream is saying now you no longer need to do that. It's time for you to open up and share with people who you really are. The old wooden pier means that you have digestive system issues, and they're connected to this start to life. So working on opening up is going to help with that. You say, we walk by some members of our tour group gathered near the pier. They avert their gaze as we walk by, drenched with seawater. They almost act like they don't see us. Okay, so, but see, that's what you want. You want people to not see or to believe whatever it is you put out about yourself. And you've got to realize that and fix that. So they act like they don't see us. Much less speak to us and ask if we're all right. Now, this all comes from mom, and I know your mom, so please forgive me. This confuses me, but the feeling quickly becomes irritation. As we pass them, I say to my mother loudly, so this group can hear, what a boring crowd we're stuck with here, you know. Mom agrees, and we walk off from the people. Okay, so So when things irritate you in life, that's what gets your digestive system. So you got to look at the source of irritation. So that's what it is. These people irritate you because they're not open and warm. But this is about not getting that open and warm connection at the start of life. And You find life boring. So you do things in life that, indulging in alcohol, let's say, and other things, because you find life boring. And so this is what the dream points it out, that this irritation and this requirement from your part for life to be entertaining and to be whatever it is, you got to look behind that and say, okay, why do I have that desire? Because that's making me make choices that cause me to close myself off. And you don't want to do that. I'm not sure if I've said that well, but that's what you got to do. Work on the issues around mom. That's going to help you open your heart. And when you do that, it's going to start to solve a lot of the other issues that you've got. Seems like a put down, but you also remember in this, you have the channeling ability. So you've got that. Working on the issues with mom is also going to help bring in your channeling ability and your connection to, let's say, your own church, which is good. All right, let's move on. This dream is called Palace. And it's from Emma, age 25. She says, for the past 3 nights, I've had dreams I'm in a giant ornate palace and everyone I've ever met is eating at a banquet. One of the dreams stuck out most because all of a sudden water started leaking through the ceiling and I ran out of the front doors and was pulled into the air by a cold wind. Looking up, I saw the sun being eclipsed and I knew that was the cause of the storm. So, what is this dream about? Well, you don't have a physical problem, or I should say, the dream is not about a physical problem. It's about the fear of feeling confined. And that's why when the water starts coming in from the ceiling, you start running out. I didn't talk to you beforehand, so you can email me afterwards, or we can set up a one-to-one, as indeed is the case with anybody whose dream I do on the show. I am happy to get on a call with you and talk to you for 30 minutes about the dream that I've covered, just so that you can ask me questions that I wouldn't necessarily cover on air. But what is the point of this dream? What really stands out is the eclipse, and the sun is being eclipsed, and you knew that that was the cause of the storm. So the sun gives life to our planet and represents a healing ability. You have the ability to channel healing energy, like the healing energy of the sun, through your body and into people. And by blocking that ability, which is what the eclipse is about, that's what gives you the fears in life about feeling confined or life being confining. So you've got to work on connecting with that gift, setting it free, don't block it, and that's really going to help you. The other thing that's obvious in the dream is running where you're pulled out. Well, see, you run out the front doors. So that's a symbol for birth, because you start off in a building and then come out the doors. That's birth. So you also say, though, that you're pulled into the air by a cold wind. So it's like, where were you born? Were you born in a hospital or whatever? It's just kind of funny the way you say it there. But it's not pleasant. Obviously, it's not pleasant. There's a discomfort at the start of life, and that's what you've got to deal with. But you brought this gift with you. What else do we say? You say that you see everybody you've ever met is eating at a banquet. So it's like you have a special perspective that allows you to see how life itself is healing for everybody. And that's why I mentioned this in Nick's last stream, because I knew this was coming up. You can see how everybody is helping everybody else heal at the same time. It's not that everybody's a healer, but some people will show you your dysfunctions. Some people will show you your potential, and at various levels in between. And then, of course, there are people that are here to help. And that'll bring us to the guides question later on. But it's a really unique perspective. I wouldn't mind if you wrote and shared what your perspective is, because everybody you know is at this table. That means your enemies, your friends, the whole 9 yards. Everybody's there, all eating at the same table. And we often forget here on the earth plane that that's the case. We really are all eating at the same table, and we're all helping each other in some way. Not necessarily in a way that you're saying, oh, thank you for shooting me in the leg, but it still ultimately is all about us learning about ourselves. So let's move on to another one. This one is called Surfing with a Shark, and it's from Melissa. And she says, my sister and I were somewhere and watching 2 female surfers on TV, but there was an actual ocean there as well. It was as if we were watching them on TV, but it was happening right there in real time as well. A large shadow appeared behind them. Ooh. So behind them is the past. The two female surfers are about your channeling ability or your spiritual connection because they're riding on the ocean. And so it's asking you to get in touch with your female side because you're there with your sister as well. But this shadow then that shows up behind them, here's something not good. A large shadow appeared behind them and it looked like it was the shape of a shark. I wasn't sure what it was, so I looked it up online and it was spelled manatee. Obviously manatee, but spelled a little bit different. But it has the word man in it, notice. And I was wondering if it was a manta ray, which also has the word man in it, but it was dark bluish grey colour. So dark blue is about having a negative philosophy. And of course, we know that anyway, even just from the shark. If you didn't have that colour, we would know it from the shark. It's like, okay, I want to get into the spiritual field. I want to touch my spiritual gifts, use them. But I have this negative philosophy that I need to overcome that comes from, well, how does it show up in your life? It shows up by you being male, having a male kind of controlling approach, intellectual, rationalizing, trying to think about things too much. And it doesn't mean that being able to be thoughtful is negative, but overthinking things blocks abilities. Anyway, it's dark bluish grey colour. Grey is about mental denial of emotion. Grey colour of a whale with white polka dots and resembled a manatee more than a manta ray. And so I looked this up because I knew I'd seen some large creature, whale that had those colours. And sure enough, it's a whale shark. So whales say you're a channel. The two people on the surfboard tell us you're a channel. The TV reference tells us you get clairvoyant images. So you get images from your guides and movies that give you the answers to questions. So that's how it works for you. And it works in real time because you say that you're watching this on TV, but there's an ocean and it's happening right there in real time as well. So you don't need to go off and think about things. Somebody can ask you questions and you get the answers there and then, which is really cool. But the whale shark then, of course, is the fear. And it's the biggest marine animal. I did not know that. And the biggest one ever recorded was 62 feet long. Can you even imagine that? 62 feet long. That's absolutely crazy. So you think it's more of a manatee than anything else. And a manatee and a whale shark, they are both harmless to humans. They don't hurt us whatsoever. And so it's saying that the fears that you have or the negative philosophy you have around this is never going to manifest in something happening that's negative. And that's really good. We love to see that in a dream. So very positive there. Get in touch with your spiritual side, but don't overthink things. Don't try to control things. Just go on the ride like a surfer. They can't anticipate the wave. They have to just, it's where I was a surfer. They have to just feel the bumps, be in touch with it, go whatever direction they need to go and be ready to change at an instant's notice. But they can't be up in their head doing it. It has to be a feeling. And that's what you need to do. Stop analyzing things as much as you do and just go with the flow. Yeah, so it's good. Work on your male side. That's what you need to do because of all the references to male there. And I think we can get another dream in and then the questions. Let's do it. This one is called Office with a Daybed and a Pearlescent Coupe. Or is it coupe? And it's from Merle, not a real name. I hope I've pronounced it right. That's the pseudonym. And she gave a description of all the different symbols in her dream and what she thought they meant, which was fantastic. I'm always going to pick a dream where somebody does that because you've made an effort, hopefully through using my book and the free dictionary on my website, dream-analysis.com. And so she had a good go at interpreting her dream, which is great. And she even says the parts where she had difficulty. So let's just have a look at the dream. The dream takes place in a mall. She says, so a mall is about needs and responsibility. So we know this is something you need to do. I'm working in an office, very small, with a daybed in it. The office is about the mind. It is at the end of the hall where you would see an exit to a stairwell, but I don't see one of those. And she says that this is about birth or the womb, which it is. The hallway is about the uterus, the entrance just inside the door of a house. And the small room at the very back of a hallway is a great symbol for the womb. It's usually a cloakroom, no windows, very, very small. But you'd say that it's very, very small, or very small office at the end of a hallway. So we're going to take it. It is that. So the dream's working on your birth. the type where you could have a trundle bed underneath with white ornamental detailing. I love this. You could have. So it doesn't even appear in the dream. And she says, here's what you could have here, and describes this white iron ornamental detailing. So we know from that you can be hard on yourself because of the white. Iron is also super, super hard. So we know you're hard on yourself. And so you got to go easier on yourself. That's the point of the dream. And the office says that you can tend to be up in your mind. So you need to stop being up there, stop beating yourself up, let's say, and just enjoy things. I go down to the parking garage and when I return, so the parking garage is about a choice of roles. So you have a choice. When I return, my mom and sister are there and not only want to sleep in the bed, but they won't leave. So you've got to work on your mom, of course. Your sister's in there probably because she has traits that you can see in her that are from mom, similar to mom. Sometimes sisters can be there for another reason, but because both of them are in the bed, I'm going to just go with that. I ask them at first and then end up pulling the sheets off the bed so that they will leave. So it's good to get them to leave. So you got to heal the stuff at the start of life or while in the womb that you picked up about mom. That's what you got to work on. I go back down to the parking garage and my friend Sharon is there, and you say she's a hoot, the best hugger I know and very caring. And I love that, but I also love her name. Sharon is a pun on sharing, which is about you getting into your heart. So you need to cut the ties with mom. That's what you need to do. That's what Nick also needs to do from the dream earlier. Like, it's not just like, here's my problem. Knowing what you need to do and then doing that is going to solve the problem. So that's what you need to do. And that's why it's in a mall, because that's about needs. This is something you need to address. She just got a new pearlescent white sports car that is a 2-seater. She is cleaning it off because it is dirty and she's cleaning it off with a rag. And you say, the only reason I know the color is it's the same as my car in real life. I'm then looking for my car in this huge complex and end up trudging up a hill only to realize that I'm further away from my car. I am cold and I start heading back down the hill. Then I wake up so cold. So the cold is about the same as before, with Nick and his mom falling into the icy water, and he rescues her. Of course, that's about him rescuing himself from his mom. And here it's about you needing to get out of your head into your heart, stop being controlling, which is what the white iron thing is about. So you might be hard on other people, you might be judgmental of other people, but you're most hard on yourself. So that's what you got to work on, and work on it by cutting the ties with mom. So till the point where you no longer see references to being cold in a dream. What else do we have? We have the sharing, and Sharon's name being about that too. The sports cars tells us that you're a spiritual healer. You're able to channel energy through your hands into people and help heal them. Fantastic. And you said she was cleaning it off with a dirty rag. So it means that the other thing, because of the color, it's pearlescent, it means that you have a prophetic ability, and you admitted that in your comments already, that you have you say fits of prophecy. I don't know what that means. But you don't like it. You're angry with it, which is why you have to clean it. Things being dirty in a dream shows that you're not respecting them. So you don't respect this ability, and it's usually an anger towards it. You've been told something in the past that you didn't like, you would wish you hadn't heard, and maybe even feel like you're partly responsible for it happening because you heard it in advance. But anyway, you've got to clean that attitude. Then the last part is you're trying to find your car that's good. So you're trying to find your way to achieve what you need to do in life. And Merle's 35, so you're nice and young. It's a good age to be doing this. But you end up heading up a hill, trudging up a hill and getting further from your car. So life is a bit of a struggle right now. Work on the stuff around mom. That's going to fix that, and it's going to get you closer to the abilities and all the things that you need to do. I hope all that makes sense. And thank you very much for your dream. So I'm going to skip over the next dream I had and go on to the questions. And they come from, not the real name, of course, Looking for Guidance. She says, hi, Michael. Thank you so much for your dream show. I love listening to it. You mentioned guides to me a couple of times when you've interpreted my dreams. I would love to understand more about guides, and I wonder if you could go into it a little bit more. And she says, or perhaps I could send you questions. And she sends the questions here. So absolutely, that's what this show is about. The big one, what are guides? Well, there are books and books written about that. And I always say to people, get The Grand Design by Paddy McMahon. That's the book that's going to tell you about guides best as far as I'm concerned. But guides, most of us on the earth plane, we have a particular life purpose. We're here to learn about ourselves, to grow, to heal by looking at the obstacles that I mentioned that are not in the way, they are the way. They help us deal with those obstacles and use those obstacles as a catalyst for growth. They've already been here on the earth plane. They've already gone through all the lessons. We are going through the particular ones that are specific to us. And so they're best suited to have empathy and understanding how and what we need to do in order to overcome those obstacles. They stay in the spirit world typically and help us from afar. And they show up in our dreams, but they're helping us all the time. They can cause all sorts of things to happen in our lives. They can cause opportunities to come our way. They can cause us to lose opportunities and doors to be closed so that we end up only able to make the one choice, which is the choice we are meant to be making. But anyway, you say, I understand us all being able to reach out to our own guides or to have help that feels divine. Having guides appear in dreams, yeah. Is there a case that some souls operate as guides on that level and they're also choosing to live a human experience? Yes, some guides do come here to live a human experience because they're going to help while on this plane. They wouldn't typically be a guide to somebody else while they're doing that. They will have their own guides helping them. We also have guardian angels, which is another thing. And guides get a lot of the things done for us through asking our guardian angels to do things. One big important thing to realize is guides do not help us unless we ask them for help. That's a cardinal rule. So you have to ask for help and be specific. You ask, why would they choose to be a human if they're already guides? Aren't they already in the ideal space to be in? Who would want to be human? So you're obviously not happy with being here. And you are a guide and you're asking this question because you're here as a guide. Well, guides come here to help on the physical plane. They're usually very good at something and they're going to help a lot of people with whatever that something is. I probably should have given myself more time to this. There's a lot more questions. We will start off next week answering more of these. What else do we say? Is everybody acting as a guide, sort of? Aren't we all guiding each other? Well, yes, but no, it doesn't make everybody a guide. Not at all, not by a long shot. If we're all part of the same source and we're not all guides and not all guides at the same time, how could anyone be more connected to being a guide than anyone else? Because they've worked on themselves. They've removed the obstacles, and by removing the obstacles, they get closer to their true nature. And the closer they get to the true nature, the closer they are to being able to understand and help other people. All right. That's it. That's my show for this week. Thank you for listening, and I will see you all next week. Bye-bye.